You won't believe how stupid this one is. Clair Obscur, la expeditions, très très, get this, is not diverse enough. It's not DEI hires enough. It's too white, they said. They're gonna find any excuse in the book to try and pretend that this was not an absolute victory. Pathetic, honestly.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the most stylish, stunning, artistic experiences I've ever played. I said it in the previous video, I consider it a masterpiece, one of the best games I've played in the last decade. I actually made a comparison to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, because back in 2015, when I was in the middle of that game, I just kind of thought in my head, wow, I'm playing an all-time experience, and that is the same way I feel about Expedition 33. This is just a feeling that I don't have often, so this is a game that came out of the middle of nowhere. Even though I talked about it months ago, I really did not expect this quality of an experience coming from a first-time studio like Sandfall Interactive. Now, with any game, especially here in these modern times, there is criticism. There is individuals, crowds that do not like a game for whatever reason. Red Dead Redemption 2, I consider it one of the greatest games of all time.
Yep, we call them lunatics. We call them woke when they don't really care about gaming. They care about pandering and politics. Keep your stupid politics out of gaming. It's that simple.
Time as well, and a lot of people consider that game extremely boring. And there's been some correct criticism in regards to that game in terms of some of its like mission design and structure. Those are things that I agree with. Even God of War, that's another experience that ended up taking home the Game of the Year honors that same year. There's been criticism weighed on that. So look, game criticism is something that's going to happen no matter what. Some of it, especially with Expedition 33, the last couple of weeks, it's mind-boggling. Like PC Gamer's review here, they gave the game a 70 out of 100. Like I talk.
PC Gamer also said that Diablo 4 has better drip than Path of Exile 2, and it's just a better game in general. They're pretty disgusting and deceptive when it comes to this stuff.
About reviews, this one's just one that kind of irked me a little bit. The fact that they finished the game in 20 hours. I don't even know how you do that unless you're really rushing and playing on the easiest difficulty possible. But the reason why they gave the game such a low score was specifically because
it's a journalist. They are playing it on the easiest difficulty, probably even cheating.
Because they really did not like the dodge and parry mechanic, which I honestly thought was fantastic. Clair Obscur's commitment to the vibe drew me in at first, but it quickly piled on real-time parries, dodges, counters.
The one thing that's supposed to require skill, and there you go. A journal is already crying it's too hard. Can't make it up, can you?
And other mandatory distractions that left me wondering if it might be more fun to gawk at than play. And then they continue saying, it feels like Clair Obscur is deliberately trying to trip you up sometimes, and when some of its boss fights drag into multiple phases over dozens of minutes, often introducing new attacks right at the end, losing party members to a handful of failed dodges and getting sent back to the start is a drag. And this is very much an article or a review that I would say this individual, this journalist, did not know how to get good. Because a lot of the charm with this experience is getting better by finding new pictos and just leveling up your characters and such. I don't know how this individual played this game, but it sounds like they played it in a way that it just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, this was one review that gave it a 70 really because of the combat, and I just find it honestly ridiculous. And I disagree with it. And the PC Gamer review is not the only thing we've seen out of this same outlet with the same criticism, even weeks before the game launched. Again, they previewed different journalists and they had the same exact criticism. And the headline was, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 feels like a French Persona with an impressive combat system that I should love, but which I actually hate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Persona, but there's a little bit more to the flair of the fighting. That's accurate. Imagine that, a journalist being accurate.
And again, the main summarization of this article is that they hate the real-time stuff, and that's why they're against this game. Just really weird the hard-on that they have against this experience. And we've seen other criticisms the last couple weeks. This is one that's been kind of widespread on social media. This is how every single Expedition 33 fan talks about the game. History of RPGs, 1986 slop, literally no RPGs, 2025, first engaging RPG ever made. And look, Expedition 33, it's an experience that has been, I guess, grabbing the attention and love of a lot of people that don't play turn-based RPGs. So this criticism is one that it's been widespread. I find it a little ridiculous, but it is a feeling that a lot of people do have, especially those who play turn-based RPGs. They feel almost insulted by the success of Expedition 33. Like, we have other people saying it's so awesome that people think stuff like this is fun, and this is just another criticism of, yeah, they don't like the parry mechanic, and this is extremely fun. I absolutely love this, but obviously not everybody is a fan of that. We've also seen more absurd criticism in recent weeks. Your Torch is kind of infamous.
Oh god, this guy again. Dude, this is Grifter Supreme right here.
For this, he is a headache.
Okay, I don't think he's gonna read this, is he?
Of an individual, to say at the very least. He
Yeah, he's not reading it. Okay, let's read it a little bit, shall we? Maybe this is interesting. I mean, it's a goddamn wall. I originally didn't go on the crusade against Expedition 33 because it's a new IP. The devs didn't hijack an existing one, and it certainly isn't isn't a Concord where even robots feature pronouns. I mean, if it's something is a new IP, I don't know why you would say that you're not gonna criticize it because it's a new IP by a new dev studio. I mean, that doesn't save anything from criticism. So point one already is kind of stupid and bad. Two, it's not a remaster where Type A, Type B nonsense was injected when there was pronouns, none of that. I mean, true, but again, this how does this how does this make it not worth criticizing? I don't get it. It's a new studio that hasn't sold. It's sold to global entities like Embracer Group. Embracer Group buys them, no one sells their soul to them. Embracer Group just acquires them because they're on the open market, okay? No one sold their souls to Embracer Group. That's just not how it works. Kepler in Interactive is publisher. Shouldn't there be an A there? No, it's publisher. Kepler and it's publisher. Oh no, it's fine. I'm just stupid. Is owned by a group a group of independent game devs behind games like Sifu. Oh, okay. So if you like the studio, you're just gonna be a shill and not say bad thing. Oh, you see, this is what I hate. That none of this makes sense. New studio, can't criticize it. This is the stuff that we constantly talk about other things being bad because this mindset is bad. You're literally putting people on pedestals so they can't be criticized because they kind of fit your agenda. This is pathetic. It's not doomed dark age where feminist company like Microsoft is diluting an existing brand by appealing to Pedro Pascal Disney Marvel audiences. What the fuck is what? 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 I understand that Pedro Pascalification of things, but what the hell? Bro, I don't even know what he means by this. This is how wild this point is. 6. It's not a Compulsion Games or Obsidian once revered studio that have been corrupted by Beyond Redemption, DEI, and feminist and innovative sponsored by Microsoft. Okay? Again, even if it's not... Like, how does any of these ideas, these points, save a game from criticism? If this is how you judge if something needs to be criticized, you're just a fucking dipshit. That's it. If this is how you judge if something worth criticizing, you're an idiot.
Infamous for this, he is a headache of an individual, to say at the very least. He criticized the game, saying... I can't even say this with a straight face. Many won't agree with this, but we can't keep tolerating every single disrespect to Western industry in the terms of alternate worlds. If you want to do an alternate world, don't use Latour, Eiffel, blah, 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 as your setting, only to turn it into South of Midnight. He compared this to South of Midnight. Expedition 33 is no better.
Wait, what? Because it's a destroyed world? That makes it South of Midnight? Damn.
In that regard than woke slop like Bridgerton. The game is beautiful, its art direction is breathtaking, it's definitely a promising future for Western development, but the sneaky DEI pandering ruins the experience. I don't know how you have that takeaway from this game, but that's...
There is one point of DEI pandering in this game, and it's hilarious. And I think we can see it here.
and getting sent back to the
Now we cannot see it here. That's the wrong comp. Here, maybe? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Look at this. I mean, do I need to take a pivot tool and find out what color this is supposed to be, and then you see it in game and what it actually is like? I mean, it's not even close. Okay, it is not even close. Okay, here, you see that? Well, this is in the dark via campfire, but you can already see it's not even close. Now, it's supposed to be close-ish to that. This is a Pedro Pascalization of things, but I mean, this is just a joke in general. It's that's the one thing you could call DEI. Everything else is like, what are you even talking about?
game is beautiful. Its art direction is breathtaking. It's definitely a promising future. Oh, how you have that takeaway from this game, but that's a take. That's an opinion piece some people have had. I will also acknowledge the fact that he was being dunked on badly in the comment section by a lot of individuals that you wouldn't expect this from. So, yeah, this is just like I said, some of the criticism with Expedition 33, really just games in general these days, is absolutely ridiculous. But that's some of the stuff that has happened. A lot of this is easily ignorable. It's nothing that is a mass like boycott campaign, at least until what we're about to get into. But I think it is important to understand that the Expedition 33 team, they really went out of their way to talk about how so many different parts of Japanese like media and RPGs inspired this game. We heard from the creative director. He said that Japanese games shaped him, and then that he's more than happy that this game has been embraced by people in Japan than how it's been received in any other country. I feel more pleased that the game has been accepted by people in Japan than I do about it receiving acclaim in any other country. That is kind of, again, a comment coming from Guillermo Brochet. He is the creative director, and he's talked about this in multiple interviews. He talked about how the gameplay was inspired by classic Final Fantasy games and Sekiro. He also talked about Lost Odyssey. He also said that inspired combat within this game. So a lot of different Japanese experiences over the years inspired what we got here with Expedition 33. I guess you could say we could thank those games for...
What inspired the choice to have Luna barefooted? I want to know that. That's pivotal.
Giving the way for what we got now, which again is just an absolute masterpiece and a game that I think is going to win a lot of Game of the Year honors later this year. But this is where we get to the absurd criticism that is emerging surrounding Expedition 33 and a boycott campaign against this experience.
What's the point of doing that? Especially at this point, it's like you're not getting anything. People are just gonna laugh at you. How dumb can you be? Some people are just too dumb. Okay, how did they even exist?
Headline really puts what we're about to talk to into perspective. The creators of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 were targeted by racist attacks, a game deemed too old France, a team too white. Yes, there have been accusations levied against developer Sandfall Interactive, saying that they specifically went out of their way not to hire non-white developers, and they were...
You know what it was? They hired on merit. Yeah, that's how it ends.
Against diversity. That's why the game doesn't have many non-white characters, and it's an absurd argument. It's also really just the only evidence of any of this is just some random Discord comment, but this is something that has been going widespread on French Twitter from a bunch of French, I guess you could say, liberal accounts. It is honestly just mind-blowing, but it's also gotten to the point in which Sandfall Interactive has responded to this situation, which I have feelings about that. So as this user brings up, again, a French account, this is it, Sandfall Interactive. Again, the people are looking for its downfall. It's a studio of just 30 people, but they should already be implementing...
Look at this. Who? Does this matter?
Mandatory quota policies. A team of white people have made a successful game in an old France universe, and they can't stand it. Obviously, this is mocking these comments that we're about to get into.
Okay, so the guy mocking the idiots trying to DEI Expedition 33 is getting mocked and is getting a lot of views and a lot of people supporting. That's pretty good. 5K likes, less than 500 retweets. Not retweets, but quote tweets. That means everyone's of this opinion. Rightfully, obviously, so...
that we're about to get into. like I said, these are the ones that we're specifically talking about. They've been translated. We had a French YouTuber here on the top left corner. I'll probably, make the images a little bit bigger so you can see for yourself. But 30 devs on only white people. It's true that it's suspicious. And they're responding to another comment saying the only one who is
It's suspicious, yeah.
black is the dog, and that is I guess they're criticizing the fact, again, a development team screenshot of all of the developers. Again, it's a small team, and they deliberately did that because they wanted these developers, these individuals, to work together. They're working together in this studio, and I don't think that when they were putting this team together, they really thought about the race of the developers, which is just a weird thing that you see in a lot of Western countries. Like, you don't hear about this in Japan, like, oh my god, I can't believe that there's no white developers or any other race on the team. It's just such a weird thing. You see this criticism levied against you see this often with a lot of American studios. It's like so many individuals from these countries, these loony individuals online, they believe that, I guess, every development studio has to look like a Netflix movie, and that's just that's mind-blowing to me. But these were other comments that went viral. Marvel Fitness, another bigger account we'll get to.
Marvel Fitness, FR. That is hilarious.
There were more than 33 developers. The Asians who worked on the game are not highlighted. Again, that was an outsourced studio. They weren't part of Sandfall Interactive, but this individual has a narrative to deliver. A person of color reported being rejected for a developer position. That is unfounded. There's no proof.
Holy, imagine. A person of color did not get anything that they asked for? Oh no! Heavens to Betsy! Oh man, someone should call the police.
Of that actually being a real thing. It was just some random comment, but we'll get to that in a second, which inevitably gets people talking. The game itself doesn't really follow the woke codes, with racialized characters highlighted, as well as the team in the photo. This appears to fascists and politically exploited by racist video game fans for their anti-diversity fight, and also raises eyebrows among leftists. Moreover, the nationalist and patriotic discourse was very present in the promotion of the game, because the game honors French culture. Come on, this is so fucking...
To be fair, I mean, French culture is shit, so, I mean, I'm a European, okay? I'm allowed... If you're American, you're not allowed to say this. As a European, I can hate everyone. It's my job, okay? It is my job, my destiny, to hate literally everyone else, because we're better than everyone else. This is just how we are. The American brain cannot understand it. How we can wake up and hate literally every one of our neighbors in not racial borders, but segregational, magical racial lines on the sand. Okay? That's our life. And my God, we will keep living it. Because it is beautiful. Unless some American says France bad. In that case, we literally all side with the French, because America can, go do something in schools with things. You know what I'm saying?
Stupid, which makes some people suspicious of the creator's underlying ideologies. There is nothing like dramatically crazy.
There's nothing more believable than a insane French woman being against France.
About the ideology in the game or anything with the narrative. It's just so fucking crazy that they're saying any of this. But in short, in any case, the game is good, and there's no point in making a judgment on their intentions without concrete evidence, but they're using random Discord comments. It's probably just a coincidence. Another individual saying, we don't forget that they refused to hire non-French or non-colored people before even looking at the CV, and not because it's good to suck at the game, but we have to start denouncing the studio's problems. Oh my, these individuals. And then we have other comments. This individual saying, we'll be able to ask them in 4K why they refuse junior internship requests from people of non-French origin when the team is made up of only juniors. It's going to be funny. I mean, non-French origin kind of gets in the way of a studio made of French developers that they all want to work in the same studio. They're trying to distance themselves from the AAA plague that has happened. I mean, you see all these studios working around the world and how that has hurt so much of the creativity of this industry. So having developers being able to, you know, communicate and talk to each other, you know, maybe just all being a French origin, maybe that's beneficial to this studio, and maybe there's a reason why they've been so successful so far, and maybe it's because of the culture that they've crafted so far. And there's no reason to change that up just because a bunch of idiotic fucking morons from France, I guess, take issue with that. But yeah, they'll bitch online and call for boycotts, unfortunately. But the problem is, I just really hope that these studios, especially Sandfall and Kepler, which is the publisher, aren't actually listening to these morons. Because we've seen how in the past, a lot of studios, they respond to some of these small little criticisms that really should just be ignored. And I do need to acknowledge that I overlooked this when I was recording, but this individual was responding to the fact that Sandfall Interactive was going to be attending an event, and I guess this French individual was calling to harass them about random
typical
Discord messages that have been proven to just be unfounded at this point. So yes, they very much wanted an actual direct confrontation with these developers, and that's just honestly abhorrent in my opinion. But we have another individual, again, we just talked about this person. They've really been going to bat against Sandfall Interactive, not really sure exactly why. But this is the translated Discord comments. And this is the accusation that has been levied against Sandfall Interactive. Again, there's no proof at all if this is even a real thing, but
what the hell is this?
Unfortunately, again, Sandfall has responded to this. Basically, when I was finishing my studies, a friend and I, who isn't French and racialized for the record, I'm not sure, and would go around the studios in Montpellier to hand out CVs, their resumes. When we arrived at Sandfall, those nasty bastards just yelled at us. Yeah, because those 30 developers are going to definitely scream at you because you handed over a resume. Suspicious. Saying they're not recruiting, and anyway, they don't take juniors, etc. And they threw us out without taking our resumes. And sometime later, I learned that a guy I
Even if this is true, by the way, who cares?
know who's white was hired there.
By the way, if this is true, who cares?
Today I learned that their level designer is a Raptor fan and blah 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 blah. The leads are former Ubisoft employees who left during the wave of reports of assault and harassment. That according to them, the studio is too woke. I'm guessing the reason why they brought up the assault and all that stuff is to try to link these Ubisoft employees, Guillaume Blanchet, to that, which is completely unfounded and absolutely ridiculous. Again, this is just automatically extremely suspicious, almost like this individual, whoever came up with it, was really trying to go after this studio for whatever reason. Another one, I'll summarize, but basically they're those type of racists, and when I wanted to drop off a resume with a friend who isn't French, they threw us out without taking our resumes with the excuse that they don't take juniors. The studio is mostly made up of juniors. That is literally the accusation which has been going widespread on.
If a studio is made only from juniors, that means that they are very specifically selecting people that they think are gonna actually, maybe they're considered juniors, but they're selecting people who they think are actually way above junior level, and they don't actually need to be taught everything from scratch. This makes, by the way, perfect sense. If they probably didn't do this, Clair Obscur would probably crash and burn.
Online, and people are treating it as a fact, which kind of just gives you an understanding of online environments nowadays and how this can really just get out of hand. Again, no proof, no concrete proof at all provided here, but many individuals treating it as a fact. Like I said, this is an example. Oh, so that's why the only black character in Clair Obscur died in the first 10 minutes of the game. Wow, I am very disappointed. That's just ridiculous, making up assumptions about that. And the comment they were talking to is from an account that is privated, but that was the main
yeah, they all died, except the main cast. That's kind of the point.
Individual that started peddling this Discord message fucking nonsense. Another individual saying, go boycott Clair Obscur, guys, I'm going to develop my own French JRPG, blah, 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 I'll give the concept of the game look. So, yeah, like I said, people are calling for boycotts of this game based on unfounded Discord messages. Oh, and I do think it is worth highlighting the fact that, you know, Sandfall Interactive and its amazing narrative is crafted by an Asian woman who was found...
I mean, what? And? You understand that all of this, every single time an accusation against anyone is, oh, it's not diverse enough. It's not Asians. It's not this. It's literally blacks. That's what diversity means. Just blacks. There's nothing else matters. Asians don't matter. Latinos don't matter. Latinos are, Walmart versions of blacks, anyways, in their opinion. So, well, obviously, they triple don't matter. In fact, you're supposed to not hire them. Uh, Native Americans don't matter, okay? Diversity is literally supposed to just be for blacks. That's why all of this woke nonsense can't take off. This is why no one believes it. This is why everyone hates it. Because it's not about actual diversity even. That's the most ironic part of it.
Found by Guillermo Brochet through Reddit comments. Like the story behind how these individuals were hired is absolutely fascinating. The same thing goes for its music composer, which was found on SoundCloud. Like it's truly remarkable that all of this came together and that Expedition 33 was even possible and it did happen. Like, it's miraculous, honestly, and it should be applauded that this all came together and worked out. But unfortunately, you have moronic people like this, which are trying to play the diversity checkbox game, and it's not even accurate to the situation because they're blatantly misrepresenting Sandfall Interactive based on a team screenshot of a couple of developers together. It's just ridiculous and stupid. Another individual. Again, this is the Marvel Fitness account I was talking about before. They continued, somebody calling them out, and they said, playing the Patriot card, not putting forward Asian developers that don't work at the studio. No racialized people in the team put forward, just like in the game, apart from an Asian woman. And we know the relationship that they are racist with Asian women. Yes, tell that to the main lead writer, the main developer. This is so stupid. The accusation of having refused racialized developer, and finally the political recovery by players of the game to oppose at the so-called woke games. It's a lot anyway, but personally I keep the good suspicion. And yeah, unfortunately 200 likes from this moronic comment. And another individual saying, to summarize the drama created by the lunatics on this network, a left-wing Twitter account claims that this game is intended for racists. She receives Discord screenshots of alleged hiring discrimination at the studio. The racists consider this a culture of victory, and that is a misguided summarization.
No one, including their moms and dads, cares about them. It's just the way of life, okay? Listen, I'm not saying all of them are damaged goods, but they are. They are, and everyone knows it. Anyway, that was Legacy Kill HD. Bye!